Welcome everybody, good morning, here for our Saturday morning motivational walk. I am live here at Hourglass Lake. It is a very, very chilly morning. It is 34 degrees currently. 34 degrees here in Florida. So I will say a quick hello so we give everybody a quick chance to get started. There are rules to the morning motivational walk. It is 45 minutes, and today I am going to keep it to 45 minutes. It is so cold. I do plan to make this a strict 45-minute walk, run, jog, spin. So this morning's live is different than a lot of our other lives. If you are new to the motivational walks that we do, it is 45 minutes where you can put this up on your TV, on your tablet, while you're on your treadmill, spin bike. Maybe you just want to have your morning coffee. We're going to talk a little bit about the resorts that are here around Hourglass Lake, which is the Pop Century and the Art of Animation. And then we'll have, I usually do like half and half, or, it depends how much talking I do about the resorts. And then I have some motivational topics about positivity and just overall fitness and running in general. So we've got a lot to do today. Let me turn this around, because we are going to get started in just a second. I know some people are just kind of warming up and getting on. As a reminder, so I will talk through the majority of the 45 minutes. You can use this on your treadmill. You won't see my face again on the rest of the video. But as Adam and I recommend, you can just put this up on your TV and just follow along with the POV, and pop in your own music, or you can listen to the chit chat through this. Additionally, guys, one last thing, because it's been a bit since I've been out to the motivational walks, is so it'll be 45 minutes of, go right ahead. We'll head through here. We keep it to 45 minutes, and then that way on the replay, you know how long it is. I walk at about a 16-minute pace, which is the RunDisney minimum for their longer races. And so let me set my watch. I'll say hello to everybody real quick. And then lastly, I don't check the chat as much during these walks. A lot of it is just me focusing on walking and talking as we go along. We do have some theme park live streams tonight. We're going to build a lightsaber and join the lightsaber meetup. And tomorrow we'll be out at Epcot Festival of the Arts. So those are great times if you have more theme park oriented live streams that you're interested in. Today is mainly about motivation, fitness, running, Run Disney, all of that. We're going to start out here at Little Mermaid. I thought this would be perfect for us to start out with Princess Run Disney 5K coming up in just a few weeks. So let me set my watch. Hang tight. I am like piled up under layers and layers of here. Okay. I'm under layers and layers of items because it is so chilly this morning. Okay, let's get started. So yeah, I thought Pop Century and Art of Animation would be a great place to start. The Princess 5K, 10K, and half marathon is going to be in just a few weeks here. Run Disney is out in Anaheim at Disneyland over coming up here. I think it's next weekend. And that should be a lot of fun. So I know there's a lot of people who are out training right now for the half marathon that are coming up over the next month. And then we roll right into Springtime Surprise. So before I talk about this really fun resort, it's one of my favorites. Good morning, King Triton. One thing is we already have kind of a thought of what we're going to do. So we will be putting out, there's a lot of questions during the full marathon about registering for Run Disney. Also when I did the expo, yes, that's when that came up. A lot of questions about how to register, how to get into those races and plan. And the first step, training is one thing. Getting registered is another. Yes, everything that you've read, everything you've heard is exactly what you state. It can be quite disappointing, frustrating, stressful to register for a Run Disney race, but we're going to be putting together a video and it should go out the week before. It's going to have very easy step by step. Here's what you can do in advance of registering for a Run Disney race, and here's the things that you can do when it it all transpires, when the race starts to register. Because yes, it can be there's a lot of emotions, I'll just say. Here, we're going to come through. All these resorts are pretty much full. It is a very busy weekend at Walt Disney World. There are some different competitions going on. So there's been a lot going around. If you go and search this weekend, and I think it's next weekend too, you can't get a hotel room. Like, everything is booked. You wouldn't expect that, but yes, it can be busy. Even when you think that it shouldn't be. So, also I thought I'd get in and tell you guys, I know you guys are wondering, I saw a couple comments. How's my foot? Is it 100%? No. But I'm doing much better. Feeling really good. I keep it wrapped mostly, and then towards later in the day, then maybe I'll walk in the boot a little bit. But it's doing much, much better. It's always better when it's not swelled up, and that's all gone away. So it's really good that I was feeling good enough to go out today. Now, the weather is a whole other issue. I don't know. Okay, you guys, I'm supposed to be talking about the resorts, but that's okay. Fun stories. I told Adam, I'm like, Adam, it's supposed to be 34. It's 34 on my watch. And I'm like, at 7:30 in the morning, that's when I kind of park and get ready. It's going to be like 30, 34 degrees. And he's like, Adam's so savage sometimes. He's like, Kristen, how are you going to tell people to be motivated and get up and walk, and you aren't even going to go out and get the layers on and just, get it done? Just do it. You're going to be fine. I'm like, okay, it's cold. So, good morning, guys. We are here at Art of Animation, and of all the themed resorts, this one is really, really cute. We started out in the Little Mermaid section. The resorts are quite busy, as I just talked about. So it's making some of those walkways where I just was a bit congested. So that's why I came out here along Hourglass Lake. Now, when I came in, the Skyliner, they were having trouble getting it up and going with the weather this morning. Looks like it's running now. It's running okay. But earlier this morning, it did not start on time. They were having some trouble. We'll at least try to cut through here, maybe. So, right here, the Art of Animation is directly across from the Pop Century. So there was, originally, they had begun construction work to add Pop Century buildings over here. But, and I learned this just recently, like, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. So I had to look into it further, and some people might know this, but they had begun additional work on Pop Century buildings over here, and that kind of got abandoned with 9/11. And so my understanding is it kind of went back to the drawing board, and they, you know, kind of decided upon the Art of Animation concept. And so the you know, you can see still a few remnants of it, but it's considered a value resort. But I love the rooms. So down in the Little Mermaid section, they have just standard rooms. If you're looking online and you're trying to figure out what room you want or what you like, over in the Little Mermaid section, those will have the cheapest of the rooms, and those are just standard hotel rooms, because a lot of the photos that you see show family suites, and that would be over in the Lion King, which that's where it's a bit congested, lots of families getting up for the day, coming and going, trying to get breakfast over here. So we'll unfortunately have to skip that with it being so busy, and so we'll just kind of weave through as much as we can so we can see a bit of this awesome resort. Now, the Big Blue Pool, I always love this fact that the Big Blue Pool is like 300,000 gallons. The steam's just rising up off of it right now because it is heated. But when here in Florida, this does consider when it's cold enough, it's kind of part of their inclement weather policy. So I just saw, as we passed by on the gate, they had a big sign that they are going to open the Big Blue Pool here, but it's not going to be until 11 a.m. So it is supposed to warm up, but this morning it is absolutely very, very chilly. So I have a hat. Even though I have gloves, I'm not wearing them. Here, I'm deciding my path here. You know, we might run into a few. Okay, we can make it into Cars Land. There's not that many people coming in this way. Not as much as I saw for Lion King. But they have the Little Mermaid rooms that are standard. Then they have the Lion King suites that I think Harper would just love so much. And then over by the Big Blue Pool is the Nemo suites. And those you might see to be more expensive because Disney, just like everybody else, prices their rooms, not just the type of room, but by the location of the room. And those suites that are closest to the pool cost the most money. And here in Tow Mater, the Cars area, I've been in the car suite and stayed in the car suite. I have a nice video about the room tour. So if you've ever wondered what they look like in the inside, they are fantastic. If you have a family and you really like some additional space, I cannot recommend this resort enough. And you might think, well, when you look at the price, thinking of this, wow, this is a little more expensive. This is up near deluxe category sometimes. But you have a bedroom. The room that we had, it was actually right here in this Cars building on the right. When you walk in, you have a ability for a table, pull down bed. You have a nice kind of small living room space. And then we had a bathroom in kind of the kitchen living room area, and then a bathroom in the bedroom. So there was ample room, especially if maybe somebody wants a little bit of space, a little bit of privacy, and you want to be able to maybe close that door off, like completely close the door off, versus some of the rooms that might have like a half wall. And like we're just at Stella Nova, and even though there's like a little half wall between the bathroom and the bedroom area, it's not really giving you any sort of privacy if somebody wants to just calm down. Maybe you're getting up for a RunDisney race and you don't want to bother everybody else. But there's a lot of benefits to this resort that I think are wonderful in those suites. So as we head out of the Cars area, speaking of Pop Century, we'll head in there. And this resort, Art of Animation, is very large. Like well over 1,000 rooms for sure. I think it's up near 1,800 between the suites and the standard rooms in the Little Mermaid. So somewhere in that realm. But it opened in 2012, and I guess that says like how old I feel, because I think, oh, okay, that's not too bad. That wasn't too long ago. Yeah, oops, that was like 15 years ago. But it looks good. It honestly, the interior, anytime I've been in those rooms, they've looked really nice inside. They've been well kept up. I'll tell you, even though I love it, I'm on a little bit of a hiatus from a particular resort, because I've been in a couple of their rooms and I've been unfortunately disappointed with the quality. I don't understand why they're getting beat up more than other resorts are, but this may surprise you. But over at All Star, I stayed at the All Star Music. It's a video about that and that room tour. The All Star Music, I thought, this room is really nice. Like, there's no scuffs on the wall. It was very clean. You know, the bedding was great. For a value resort, and it's like the value of the value. I think in 2 weeks, anywhere between these 2 weeks, there's dates where you can get All-Star Music, All-Star Sports for like $87. I mean, there's no, if you go outside of Disney property, there's not many resorts, there's not many anything that you can find for $87. So, stayed over there. I was very impressed. I was happy. Now, this resort has earned a bit of my disappointment. I'm going to wait for their upcoming refurbishment. I think they have one coming up either this year or next year. It's not a complete reimagining I believe they're just on the refurbishment schedule. But Animal Kingdom Lodge, I love it. I really enjoy sitting out on that balcony and overlooking the animals. Adam and I often preferred that resort. It's just a staycation for us. But it's been a couple times in the last year and a half that I've been in the rooms and they have been pretty beat up. And I get that the furniture has a bit of a worn African flair to it. But just like in the hallway, the carpeting is quite worn. For a deluxe resort, I wish there was a little bit better maintenance on some of it. And so right now I'm on a bit of a hiatus on Animal Kingdom Lodge. I'm not saying it's awful. I'm just saying I've been disappointed with the amount of money that you pay and it being a deluxe resort. The best part was sitting on the balcony with the animals, but the rooms itself I felt were dated, and I'm just going to call them well used. They're well used rooms. And you know, they all get attention, but you know, it's on a schedule. So it's not going to be like that forever, by any means. So Hourglass Lake here is one big loop. We'll make a bit of a detour through some of the Pop Century buildings around here. Good morning. So I'll check in here. Zachary wants to know, is now Cars is one of the more affordable resorts. So Art of Animation is the overall resort back there, and Art of Animation has multiple sections, kind of like Pop Century has different decades. And Art of Animation has 3 pools to go along with those sections, and each section features a different loved animated movie theme. So Cars, I wouldn't say that it's necessarily affordable, you know, that's all in the eye of the beholder, but it's one of the sections over there. Art of Animation is really a good option as it relates to the Skyliner, and Pop Century is in the same category, like as in convenience is what I'm saying. You know, these rooms back here are a bit far. This, you know, from the Skyliner, it's a bit of a hike from what you see right in front of you. This is probably the farthest building. There's another, you know, completely other side, but this is the 90s section, and it can be a bit of a hike to get over to the Skyliner or the main lobby area, but it's not bad, and the prices here at Pop Century are excellent. You know what I'm really looking forward to is I have a stay here at Pop Century. No joke. I have a room here because I've been searching. I keep searching and searching and searching to get the best deals so that I can, you know, communicate on the live streams what kind of deals and price ranges are out there right now for some of these resorts, and along with the room tours. So I have a awesome room here at Pop Century. I think it's not this coming week, it's the week after, and we're gonna see what room they give us. I think I just got standard category, and I'm hoping that maybe I'll get some decorations like a lot of people do here to decorate the windows I don't have anything really to celebrate, but I can make something fun. Nobody in this section really has anything fancy or spectacular on their windows, or I'd point it out. That's kind of a, I don't know if you call it a tradition, but it's pretty common. Here, over at All Star, there's a lot. They use those rooms for big kids groups, sports groups, and often they're decorating their windows with things for their sports teams or encouragement, birthdays. It's a lot of fun. It's something that I've never done myself, so I think I'm going to take the opportunity. So this is 70s right here, but we'll walk around the lake so we can get through most of this. And if walking a bit to the Skyliner, because if you have had a long day, you know, if you're rope dropping, then you are staying all night, and now you're finally getting back on the Skyliner. By the time you get off the Skyliner, walk to these back buildings, you know, you did walk all day, so there's that, but it might be unpleasant. And same thing here at Pop Century, there's categories for the rooms that indicate, hey, this one's going to be closer to the pool. This is just a standard room. I think standard room is really just code for we're going to put you wherever, and it's probably not going to be the best. Now, for the purpose of the channel, unless I really, really want something specific, like for Epic Universe, we booked the awesome Helios Grand. That is going to be the pinnacle of their resorts. It is connected to the park, so those guests can just go downstairs and straight into the park. You know, there's no transportation. It's going to be supposed to be beautiful, luxurious. So I did book Helios Grand, and that one I paid the additional cost to have a room that overlooks the theme park versus just standard view, whatever they have. You know, typically, I'll tell you kind of the method to my madness, but if I'm doing room tours, call me crazy, I don't care, but I might be different from other vloggers or creators, but I intentionally try to book standard rooms that are maybe like the crappiest that they have on their resort. So I genuinely hope, and I tell them at the front desk, okay, well, put me in your worst room, put me in the furthest. Why? Because I'm here all the time for things like this, and it's great to be able to see, you know, the nice things. Like here we're coming up on the lobby, and you know, right here you have a room, so you don't go very far. Just from here to the Skyliner, the lobby is really close if you're here in the 60s building. But I am happy as a clam for them to put me in whatever room they have, put me the furthest away, because I really want to know, if you pay your money and you come here and this is your hard-earned vacation, what is the worst that they got? What do they consider, like, this has the garbage view room? Because most people don't want to cover that. And Disney wants to show you all these wonderful marketing photos, but you know, there are people, of course, who have to wind up with those rooms eventually. So I'd love to be able to say, here's the interior, here's the furthest that you could have, here's the positives. Here's the disappointments between this location, and everything from here is up. You know, maybe you'll get, so, you know, lower your expectations, and you can go up from there. So I like that philosophy when it comes to just simply filming or getting to experience some of these. So the interior here at Pop Century, they just renovated the Everything Pop gift shop, and I'll cover that in the next week or so when we're actually staying on property to do the room tour. I'll do more of an in-depth tour of the resort itself to explain, here's the amenities they offer, here's some tips and tricks if you want to stay at this particular resort. But oh man, so nonetheless, if you are going to pick a value resort, hands down, I do know that Pop Century is an excellent decision. Now, it is a value resort, so is the pool fancy and have water slides and all that jazz? No. But it's a standard pool. It is pretty large. There's more than one pool here, so it's not just the main pool. They have the smaller pools on the edges. But they still have wonderful activities that you can participate in. The grab and go quick service is in the main lobby area. The little kids pool over there has a few little fountain things in the pool. But the benefit is you have buses, but you also get Skyliner access, just like Art of Animation. So you can get a really good deal. Next, I think it's like the 4th, something like that, the 5th, somewhere around there. I'm paying, I think it was $124. $124 to stay here at Pop Century. I mean, that's another excellent deal. And the Skyliner, although when it was first built and they opened it up, I really questioned if it was going to be as helpful or enjoyable as they, made it seem. Because I just didn't really get where maybe this was going to pose some trouble. Is it really going to give the benefit that they're hoping for? And in my experience, there can be some long lines, but overall, it moves pretty fast. Just like anything else at Walt Disney World, if it's at night at park close, when there's hundreds of thousands of people mad dashing to the transportation, the line's going to be long. It just is what it is. But good morning again, everybody. We are here at Hourglass Lake for a wonderful 45-minute walk, run, jog, spin, however you want to do this. And we've been chatting a little bit about Art of Animation and Pop Century. A lot of the runners from coming in for RunDisney or anybody who's just training, this is one of the resorts that is really loved because you have a generous distance around Hourglass Lake. You can weave through these buildings at the resorts, kind of like the boardwalk. It's not as large of a loop but it's enough to keep it interesting. Like Wilderness Lodge, as much as I love it, you can't run too far there. They have a few trails, I guess you could say, that you can run through or, make your path, but it's not ideal. That's probably an Animal Kingdom Lodge is absolutely not ideal for running or training. Now, they all have fitness centers, so that's fine. You can go into the fitness center and get on the treadmill or the spin bike in those locations if you want to do something lengthy where it's lacking a good running track path. But, I guess it's not the same as the excitement of running some of these lengthy paths around some of the resorts like this one. So, if you are following along, thank you so much. This is our 45-minute motivational walk. We just finished up Pop Century. We're about 32 minutes in. So we've got about 13 minutes that we'll make another loop around here, and we'll chit-chat about some motivational topics. Maybe I'll throw in some fun facts about these resorts as we go along. But so Adam and I watched a movie that really sparked me wanting to come out and talk about it on a motivational walk. I think when I talk about it, you're gonna maybe laugh. But so he came home. This was right around New Year's when we caught whatever everybody else had or has currently. A lot of high fevers and yuck. So we had some downtime. We're looking for movies to watch. And Adam said somebody at his work or a friend of his told him about this movie about the Flamin Hot Cheetos and how they came to be. And I thought, I like a good movie that's got a good story. I'm up for it. And so we went to look it up. You can go look it up too. And I found it on Hulu. It may be other locations, but the technical title of the movie should just be Flamin Hot. And it's the story of a gentleman. It starts out him growing up, being in school. He's teased. He makes friends with a young girl when they're in school. It starts out them in school. And later on, it's kind of fast forward, and he marries the girl that he befriends in elementary school. Anyway, so I've forgotten now exactly which state it is. It might be either Southern California. I think it's Southern California. But nonetheless, what's important to the story is he has a Mexican family and Mexican heritage, like genuinely from Mexico. Like they're close enough to the border. And so they grew up and kind of went through some hardships in that regard. And they're real proud of their Mexican heritage and culture. And they talked a lot about their cooking and, as a family, kind of the things that they enjoyed cooking. So after he got married to his wife, they showed him he had to get a job, of course. So things are tough. Times are tough. They have some kids. And he ended up getting a job just as a janitor at Frito-Lay. And in that, he wasn't really respected. He kind of had a big mouth. He kind of got was asking a lot of questions, trying to pry. He always wanted to know, like, hey, this guy over here, what's he working on? And how does this machine work? And very curious, but people didn't always take to him very well. And his wife, through all of this, was very, very proud of him, very supportive. Didn't look at him as just a janitor in the local plant. They were kind of looked down upon by some of the crew that had more important roles or supervisory roles, that sort of thing. So it came to be, this is now like the middle of the movie, he was trying to figure out, like, his plant is not doing very well. And Frito-Lay was having a lot of difficulties, and they had to figure out a way. He didn't want to lose his job, and he didn't want all his friends to lose their jobs either, of course, and the plant to close down. So he had this idea about, with his upbringing and the things that they enjoyed, that they were always making everything really spicy. And it's kind of an untapped market, how lots of people like him, like his kids, really loved spicy foods. And something that has some delicious spicy flavor to it. And so he took it upon himself to contact and get, and it's funny because, today's world, you can't just do that. But he was very shocked, it seemed, in the movie, the way it was portrayed, that he just called. He just picked up the phone in his plant, and he said, I want to speak to, the president, and he cited his name, and the receptionist, kind of just put him through, and he said who he was, and he said, I'm at this plant, and I have this idea, and the president, just kind of rolled with it, and he's like, okay, well, get back to me. So you would think he wasn't overly eager about it, but instead of just saying, like, I'm the janitor, this is somebody else's job, there's a whole division that creates flavors and flavor profiles and enhances things. Like, I'll just give my idea and just go about my day. So he went home and told his wife, and they started getting, like, the best of the best ingredients, and they were taste testing at home with the kids until they found, like, the right flavor that wasn't too hot, but it was spicy enough that you could eat it and enjoy the flavor if you like those spicy, tastes. So you would think that this is kind of like the end, or this is where it went. But he goes, and of course he finds the spices, because he just went to his local grocery store and got a whole different grouping of spices, and that's what they used to sit at home and make these different versions. And then they would put the spice combination on different Frito-Lay chips and Cheetos and that kind of thing. And he was able, this was so funny, he was able to get one of the supervisors to give him Cheetos that didn't have any flavoring on them, like the cheese, so that he could sample and test with them. So, he's continuing to not give up. Now, he's not getting paid anything more for this. He just really believes in it, and really what his end goal is, he doesn't want his plant to close. And he really believed that this was a great idea, and he believed that people like him who liked those spicy flavors would really, really love this product. So he finally figured out what was the perfect combination. And his kids, and he had friends and family try it out, and they kind of gave him the thumbs up. So he boxed it up and sent it to the corporate headquarters. And believe it or not, you know, the president, you know, pondered this. He tried them, and he said, okay, well, we'll give it a try. And he gave the green light. Again, this guy he's a janitor. Like, he has no affiliation with any kind of seniority or role that had that, you know, background. And so they gave him the authority, and they went with McCormick's Popular Spices, and they said, here, we need this, and this is what we need in bulk. So they started mass producing it in that plant and said, okay, well, we're going to have to test market it. So it's kind of these little hurdles through this movie. And every time, you know, there's a setback through the movie, his wife is there just reassuring him and telling him, it's okay, you can keep doing this, we got to do this, and this is going to be awesome, and you're doing an amazing job. And, you know, never giving up and encouraging. So you have that perspective. But just himself as the gentleman who had this idea, you know, he goes through, and you'd think, oh, this is the end of the movie again. And this is the end of the movie. Well, not truly the end of the movie. You think it is, and you say, oh my gosh, you know, the president approved it, and they're going to put it in production, and now they got to get it out. That's not the excitement. That's not the end of the movie. So they mass produce it, and they start putting it kind of locally, and it's just not selling. It's just not coming off the shelves in some of the convenience stores. So, you know, it's kind of like a punch in the gut. Like, he made it this far. And you think, certainly that's a win. Like, look at how your idea is now packaged and in convenience stores, but people aren't buying it. So, again, like, kind of a punch in the gut, and oh my, what do we do now? Because you don't want to stop producing it. And same thing, like, your plant is kind of setting a precedence for what could potentially be something very big. So he gathered up all his friends that were, you know, really, I will just say connected in the community. And they started handing out bags of these Flamin Hot Cheetos. You know, this is the mass-produced version, not the out of his home. And said, you know, you can buy these in your store. You can buy these over at this gas station. And they were just handing them out at different places to get the word out, because that's really what it was. So once they started essentially marketing it, because there was no marketing, they just kind of put it out there and hoped for the best. But so unless you know a product is there, you know, people aren't necessarily going to go searching for it if they don't know. So they took it upon themselves. Again, this guy is not getting paid. He's just a janitor, and he just has a dream in which he believed in this really awesome idea for something that he loved his job, and just kept being curious and seeing like how he could make things better, how he could contribute. And I don't want to give away the whole ending, because I really, really want you to watch it. And I went away from that movie just a little movie on Hulu that Adam heard from word of mouth to saying like, oh, wow. And it prompted me to search him out on Google and see like what is, the truth of, I'm sure there's plenty of articles. So I won't go into everything in the ending, but obviously we all know that Flamin Hot Cheetos and the Flamin Hot, flavor has been extremely successful and prompted many other flavors that they decided to try and go with, that people have kind of clung to and made kind of a part of their snack life. And all this from this guy who doesn't have a college formal education. Nobody gave him any extra money or rewards to say, yeah, that's a great idea. Okay. Like, they just said, well, if that's what you think, like, put it together. Run with it. Okay, let me know. And he took everything upon himself to keep pushing forward, and he kept having these setbacks. And in the end, it was a lovely ending. It was a wonderful ending. And, although we know what happened with the Cheetos, the plant didn't go under, and the overall company essentially was saved by this huge love for Flamin Hot flavor that now resurged an interest in this company and products. And it all just came from this guy who, was never tasked with that. He just had an idea. And I think that when I was preparing for the marathon and I'm thinking about different things for these motivational walks, there's a lot. There's a lot of theming in that movie that just got me thinking. And maybe sometimes I think too deep into movies, but I think when you see a movie and you're able to understand a story and how that can relate to you, it's even more helpful. And in this case, I really detest, I hate it so much when people discount somebody who's maybe just picking up the trash, or they're sweeping the floor, or in the case of running, walking, spinning, working out, there is a lot of people who they've been doing it a long time, or they're just naturally successful, and they just look down. You'd be surprised at some of the unpleasant comments that got removed on the marathon stream, like in the chat, like people who just were nasty. But that happens all the time. And I think to myself, you know what? When you think about this guy who, he's not just a janitor. Like, he completely shaped and changed the way the company, and as a leader in my work life, and a manager and a boss and a director, and things where I have to work with teams of people, and sometimes it can be with your kids, not just counting them out and saying, well, you're too young, you're too old, you don't understand. I think when people say that, they're the ones who don't understand. Because I think each of us who are listening right now, I think there's something that you've always wanted to do, or you believe that you've wanted to do, and you just need the encouragement to say, yes, you can. Like, you are just as good as that person who's telling you that you're not good enough, as yourself who's telling you that you're not good enough. And You have every ability that any of those people have to get where you want to go. Now, sometimes the path can be different, and I think that's what's important to remember. So here, look at this. This is a great example. So for some people, they can go in a straight line right ahead of us and go right to their destination and get where they want to go, and life is easy, and it's really hard to swallow that. In some cases, for me, probably you say, I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to achieve that. I have this goal. Sometimes, like I'm walking right now, this path is, it's going to the left, it's going to the right. Maybe you need to zigzag, and the path is not an easy one. And that's not always recognized. You know, the path is not always just a direct line, and you have no adversities and you have nothing, and it's just no big deal. And kudos to those people who sit back and say, yeah, if I want to go out and do this, I'm going to do it, and I'm real good at it, and you're not. But the fact remains is the finish line is the finish line. And taking a goal that you have, and no matter if it took you a lot of zigzags to get there, you know, you still are getting there. And there's kind of like the story in that movie. You know, you might think like this is the end. Like, that's great. He got his Cheetos branded, you know, and they put them in the stores, and you want to give yourself a high five, and oh my gosh, but maybe that's not really the end of your story. Now it's like, oh, that's great, but that didn't really go, we're not really there yet. You know, nobody's really buying what I've got to sell, and you know, I'm not really buying, it's not really taking me where I want to be. And taking the steps and understanding that ultimately you are responsible for you. Having a support system is amazing. But I also know that there's been times in my life where I just don't. You know, you have to tell yourself and recognize that you are strong enough and you have the ability to do the things that are hard. Or, oh my gosh, we're gonna pass by this window because it's making me so happy right now. You have the ability to get your Flamin Hot Cheetos goal. Dance mode. I love that. You know, your Flamin Hot Cheetos dream and make it a reality. So that's kind of my thought. I hope you guys go check it out. It should be on Hulu, like I said. And I know we are definitely yep, about 10 minutes over our 45 minutes. But that is no big deal. We'll stop out here. I just had a great time talking about that. And now that I have 6 layers of stuff on and the sun's out, it's not quite as bad with that 34 degrees. Yeah, Zachary, I agree. Sometimes the longer it takes you to reach the finish line, the stronger it makes you. I agree. There is nobody in history, when you think about major companies, major achievements, who didn't learn from adversities and mistakes. And that's why I think, yeah, sometimes it takes, when your finish line is a little bit further along, there's nothing wrong with that. But, so that's what, we'll come out here. But yeah, we'll take a stop over here maybe I can come over here where it's not so, here where I can kind of stand against the wind. But thank you guys for watching. I had a great time. If you enjoyed it, I have another motivational walk that will come out next Saturday. I'm anticipating it won't be 34 degrees out. So don't forget, I think that no matter what you're doing, what your goals are, you are strong, you are persevering. There's a lot in this world, in this life, that can get you down. But there's also so much that can lift you up and get you where you want to be to cross the finish line. I am very excited. I'll just say, Princess Weekend, I made a good decision. I think you guys will be happy. I had the opportunity. I saw that Give Kids the World had some half marathon bibs, and I made the right decision and said, you know what, with my unfortunate stress fracture, I'm going to forego that and I already have booked the 5K, so I'm going to walk the 5K at the Princess Half Marathon, jog, walk, jog, and then I will be cheering. I love I run in so many of the Run Disney races. It is honestly a huge joy for me to take one of the half marathons throughout the year and cheer for everybody. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe, and then we will see you in the future for more motivational walks.